It's a worldwide organization. I highly recommend you all join. However, if you don't want to join the international organization, you can join just us. You can. $50 a year get you a ton of benefits, including community like this, education. We have monthly meetings. We have some of the world's best hypnotists come and speak to our groups that we have. Insurance benefit through the national organization that gives you the ability to get some insurance. So all good stuff. Everybody who's NGH board member, please raise your hand. If you have questions about joining, come talk to any one of us, and we'll be happy to talk to you. All right. So, when I was in school, especially it seemed to happen in college a lot. Oh, sorry, Dan. Danny wants me to stand right here. Okay, I've got to stand in front of this thing. I'm not used to just standing in front of a podium. Before I do that, so I just want everybody to know what we're doing, the way this is broken down is we're doing 2 talks per hour. There'll be plenty of time in between. We're just doing like 15, 20-minute talks. So there'll be plenty of time for hanging out, chatting with people, networking, that kind of stuff. We're having lunch at 12. Salads. Sorry, Brian. And soup. Oh, and soup. So we're having soup and salad. If you didn't purchase one already, there might be a few left that you could get. We have Roy Hunter doing a keynote speech at 11 a.m. on the history of hypnosis. Our EndNote speaker today, the fabulous, the wonderful Mary Lee LeBay. Thank you. We have a stage hypnosis show tonight at 5 p.m. Brian will be one of the participants in that, and maybe Dan will actually jump in and do a little bit. He's a hypnotherapist and stage hypnotist. And a couple other folks will be doing that as well. When I was in school, I want to do it again. I want to walk. People. Need a camera person. Oh, yeah, that's right. I just did this. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So I can remember distinctly in college, the instructor would say, oftentimes, there would be not oftentimes, but sometimes the instructor would say something like, okay, now I want everybody to go and say, or stand up and say your name and what you do and that kind of a thing. I hated that. Oh my God. You won't believe this, but I'm actually an introvert and I'm terribly shy. I've broken through most of it. I fake it a lot, act like I'm not, but I'm terribly shy oftentimes. Hated it. Even going to networking meetings when you got to do your 2-minute pitch. Oh, it's excruciating for me. However, what I noticed when I did that, I was much more likely to talk to my other classmates. I was much more likely to make connections with people at networking meetings. And so, as much as I hated this, and I know as much as some of you, if you're an introvert, hate this as well, I'm going to, not quite yet, but in a moment, I'm going to invite all of us to stand up and take 3 minutes. And what I want you to do is just introduce yourself to somebody that you never met before, somebody that you don't know. Just one person. And I hope you'll do that at lunch also. By the end of this, what I always try to do now when I go to a networking meeting is I set a goal because, why go to these things if you're not going to make connections with people, right? It's not just about the education, about the networking, about meeting people, collaborating, all that kind of cool stuff. I set a goal for myself to meet 3 new people today and make really good connection with one person. So maybe a deeper connection. Maybe we're going to have lunch sometime or coffee or something like that. Set a goal for yourself. It'll make this a much better experience, I think, professionally, and maybe even personally. Really, my best friends are all hypnotists. So that's the way it is. If they weren't when I met them, I turned them into hypnotists. So what I'm going to ask you over here. All right. You guys notice how the whole energy of the room shifted? You can feel it, right? It's different because some people are warmed up a little bit, and that's the way I like to start things off. A little behind schedule. I'm just going to do something really quick for my talk. I want to talk to you about 3 concepts. I know most of you are hypnotists. Who's not a hypnotist in here? All right. Right. Well, most of us are going to be aware of the stuff I'm going to talk to you about. But what I find is I forget stuff. Anybody else? No? Right. So we know all these. And here's the other thing, too. You ever notice, like you're working with a client and go, damn, this would really work good for me, too. Right? You're doing some good NLP exercise. You do a session and go, oh, man, I need to listen to this one myself. That's just me. Okay, good. I find this all the time. And I remember I was watching Wayne Dyer one time on one of his PBS specials. You all heard the phrase, "I'll believe it when I see it." You heard that? Anybody know what Wayne Dyer said? See it when you believe it. Well, I just got chills just thinking about it. I remember the first time I heard it was from him, and I was like, "What? What is this wacko guy talking about?" Right? I'll see it when I believe it, and I have found it's absolutely 100% true. Another raise of hands. Anyone here read Maxwell Maltz's Psycho-Cybernetics or one of his other books? Yeah, and of course, Anna. If you haven't, would everybody agree that should be on your list this year? Honestly, it was written way back in the 60s or 70s. He was a Psycho-Cybernetics. You know, all those books in the 60s and 70s had those weird titles, right? You know, I mean, neurolinguistic programming. Nobody would have called it that today, right? But Psycho-Cybernetics is the book. Maxwell Maltz. He was a cosmetic surgeon back then. What he found was that somebody would come to him and they would go, "Doctor, my nose is too big. I feel unattractive. Nobody likes me because my nose is too big." Oh, okay, let's fix that. We want people to like you. We want you to like yourself. Fix their nose. They come back a month later. "How's everything going? People like you now?" "No, people still don't like me. Don't like me." "You have a beautiful nose now." "They still don't like me. I don't like myself." What he discovered is it is not the way we look. It's what's inside. And it goes even further than that, not just the way we look, but it's our self-image about everything in our life. So it comes down to, do I think I'm capable of this or that based on my self-image? And I wrestled with this like crazy when I was a kid. I had no self-confidence. I had none, zero. And had to work my whole life to get past that. And I just want to invite all of you to do big things, whatever that means to you. For me, my idea of big things is, well, I run a couple of conferences now. So I'm the Pacific Northwest Hypnosis Conference co-founder and co-founder of the Performing Hypnosis Summit. So a couple of summits. But maybe for you, it's being a leader in the church. Maybe it's being just a leader at your local charity. Maybe it's you want to take a leadership position on this board. Think bigger. And we have the tools, right? We have the tools to do that. We can use hypnosis, NLP, all the other magic that we know, and we can make that happen for ourselves, just like we do for our clients. And I think if you read this book, you're going to get a lot out of it. One thing I would caution you, I read the book 30 years ago. I got almost nothing out of it. One thing I got out of it was that failure was okay. And that's the way to success. Fail forward, really. He gives a great example of how that works. Skydiving. Right, except for skydiving. Yeah. Exactly. There are exceptions, of course. But that fear of failure gets in our way so often, and really, it's the failures that are going to lead you to success. The more times you fail, the more times you'll succeed. That's the way it kind of works out, just like in any kind of endeavor like that. But I had read the book, but here's the thing. I didn't do the exercises. And there are exercises within the book. So I want to invite you, please read the whole book once if you want, or do the audiobook. Or if you're broke, it's on YouTube. You can actually watch it for free. Now, I don't recommend that if you have the money, because I'm a content creator and I like to get paid. So I want other content creators to get paid. But if you're broke and you're not going to buy the book anyway, you can't get it from the library, whatever, go on YouTube. But seriously, take the time to go through it, because what the real magic is in the imagination. It's imagination, imagineering. Look around you right now. Pick up something on your table. Pick this up. Anything. Every single one of those things, where did it start? Up here. Somebody had an idea. I mean, there may be a couple of things in the world that are human-made that was an accident, but for the most part, every single thing started up here, and then somebody put that into action, and that's how our lives can be. So I'm going to use 3 NLP techniques. We're going to use them really quickly. We're going to do anchoring. We're going to do act as if, and we're going to do Future pacing, future pacing. All right. So with future pacing, this is, you probably already used this, but it is just basically imagining yourself accomplishing whatever it is you want to accomplish. So for us today, it could start with just getting through this day, making those connections you want to make. Maybe it's you want to what you want to have for lunch, how you want the day to go, and then maybe, and we'll go even a little bit further out for the next week, the next month, whatever you want to do. Act as if. Fake it till you make it. That's gotten some bad press lately. People say, well, fake it till you make it. Yes, I think it's just semantics. Act as if. If you act as if you're a supermodel, you almost have to become a supermodel. Now, you may not actually get a gig as a supermodel, but you'll start to look like one, you'll start to move like one, and maybe you will become a supermodel. You almost can't help it. If you eat everything a supermodel eats, if you walk the way a supermodel walks, if you do all the things that they would, this holds true for everything. I mean, the world's greatest hypnotist, like me. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm acting as if the world's greatest hypnotist. I may not become the world's greatest hypnotist, but I become a damn good hypnotist when I act like I'm becoming the world's greatest hypnotist. So I hate it when motivational speakers tell you, you can do anything. And I'm like, right? I can become a ballerina today. I can. Yes, I would. That looks fantastic. So I can get. You're welcome. So I can get a gig at the Met. I can dance around. So there are of course within reason, but maybe I'm not going to become a world-class ballerina at age 50, taking my first ballerina class with a couple of pounds to lose. But could I become a better dancer? You see me dance, I could definitely become a better dancer. It's not too far a stretch. Could I maybe do something at my local playhouse? All kinds of things. So aim for up here. You're going to get somewhere anyway. So what I want everyone to do, please stand up. We're going to do just short imagination exercise. Remember, everything starts in the imagination. If you're incapable, like Brian, you don't have to stand. Please, if it's helpful for you to imagine things, just close your eyes for a moment. Set intention. If there's a life intention, or if there's a day intention, something like that, set an intention. Now I want you to imagine that place you want to be. Now maybe it's at the end of the day, maybe it's a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. And as you're there, whatever future part that is, I want you to imagine what you're seeing, hearing, and feeling. So maybe at the end of this day, you're shaking hands with people, you're saying goodbye, you're exchanging business cards, you're setting up a lunch date. Maybe a month from now, you're turning in a proposal to speak at a hypnosis conference. Or maybe a year from now, you're taking the stage as you become a motivational speaker. And let's just imagine as you're at that goal, as you reach that goal that you have right now, I want you to just breathe in what it feels like. Imagine looking around, seeing the faces of people, feeling the energy around you. Notice what you see, hear, and feel. Notice the foods you eat, the way that you move your body, the car you drive, the house you live in. And then I want you to amplify, take it up 10 times. And then a moment, we're going to use anchoring. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to anchor it. And when I say anchor the next time, you can use whatever anchor you like. One of my favorites is to just snap my fingers, say yes, and imagine seeing yes in my mind. If you have a magic word for you, you can say that out. So everybody, 1, 2, 3, anchor. Again, yes. One more time, yes. All right, one more time, yes. All right, thanks everybody.